Happy Easter, everyone, and welcome back to another Touchdowns to Home Runs video, and we are getting back into the NFL draft content. I'm sorry I took a bit of a break from it just because of March Madness and everything, and this is actually my second take of this video. The first one, I realized after I filmed the 23-minute video that my mic, the gain was way too high on it, and it sounded terrible, so please do me a favor and like this video down below. If you haven't already subscribed, you will not be disappointed with the content that you see on this channel. I guarantee you that. If you are a sports and football fan especially, drop a like on this video. I'd really appreciate it because I put a lot of time and effort into this and I'm tired. I got my water next to me. This probably looks see-through because of the green screen behind me, but I need the water. Like, I did so much talking in the last one, but we're going to try to get through this one. I bet you it's going to be different than what I did last time because I just go through this in the moment as if I were these teams in the moment, who's going to be available and who's not going to be available. So let's get into it. It's going to be a fun video. Like the video, do all that, sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's get into it. Number 1 overall pick, no questions asked, Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars have known who their guy is. The Jaguars have known who their pick is since they got it back in, what was it, late December or early December? I can't remember when it was. I remember making a video on it, but Trevor Lawrence is their guy. Number 2, the New York Jets. This is an interesting pick because what quarterback do you take here? I think that the guy that I'm going to take here has been the cemented guy in this pick ever since his pro day, which I have also made a big pro days winner video. So definitely go check that out if you want to see some more draft content. Love that video. That was an amazing video, and I guarantee you, you will love it just as much. I'm taking Zach Wilson here. He has cemented himself as the number 2 guy in this draft, and he's just shown the player he is. Number 3, this is where it gets interesting because you had 3 quarterbacks on the board. You have Justin Fields, you have Mac Jones, and you have Trey Lance. I also made a video on the 49ers. Let's say if they have Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and Trey Lance all available, who'd they take? And in that video, I said they should take Justin Fields. In this video, who I think they're going to take here, and this is me being completely honest, spinball, I say they go with Trey Lance at 3. I know it's a very shocking pick, but Justin Fields and Mac Jones have shown struggles in pro days, and that has really dropped their stock, and I think that the 49ers are going to go with Trey Lance at number 3. Again, just my opinion, but that's what you watch these videos for. You watch these mock drafts for different opinions and to see where different guys are going. Number 4, again, the Atlanta Falcons could take a quarterback here. They could go with the homeboy from Georgia. You could go with Justin Fields here, but instead I'm going with the second best player in this draft, and I'm going with Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a special type of player. He's a guy that you do not want to pass up with, especially if you have the 4th pick and everyone else is taking quarterbacks. Do not let him fall to another team. Atlanta Falcons, you need a tight end. Jump on Kyle Pitts. He's going to be one of the best tight ends in the league as soon as he steps on the field. Number 5, this is an easy pick. The Cincinnati Bengals have already known who they're going to take since they got the 5th pick, and that is going to be Penei Sewell out of Oregon. You need to protect Joe Burrow. Yes, you could go out and grab an amazing wide receiver and let's rebirth the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection, but you got to go with take your offensive line, protect Joe Burrow. That's that. Number 6, the Miami Dolphins obviously trading up, or they traded back to 12 and then back up to 6. They're taking a wide receiver, and even though I love Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase has cemented himself as the number 1 wide receiver off the board. I think that is a given. The Dolphins get a big-bodied wide receiver who can play some amazing football. Like, Jamar Chase is going to be a steal no matter what. Number 7, the Detroit Lions. I am also going to be taking a wide receiver. Now, which Alabama wide receiver do they take? Do they take Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith? Who is going to help Jared Goff in his first season in Detroit? I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle. I like Devontae more, but Jalen Waddle seems like he'd fit the Lions better. The Lions just need a guy who is fast, who's speedy, and who could just run all over the field and make plays. Again, Devontae Smith can do all those things, but I really feel like Jalen Waddle is trending towards falling to that 7 spot with the Lions. Number 8, one of my other favorite teams, other than the Bears, which I'm a big Bears fan, obviously you can see. Bear down, baby. The Carolina Panthers are another huge team that I love. And who do they take here? They need a quarterback. Do they stick with Teddy B? Especially if Kyle Pitts was still on the board at this point, I'd take Kyle Pitts if I'm the Panthers. But if not, and you still have Justin Fields lying around at this point, you take Justin Fields out of Ohio State. Get your new quarterback. Go out. see how he does in his first year, because Justin Fields, even though he's been showing signs of being shaky, I still think that this guy can be a huge home run hit in the NFL, be a top 10 quarterback easily if he just lives up to the hype and everything. Justin Fields, do not let him pass up if you're the Carolina Panthers. Now that you have 4 quarterbacks off the board and you're sitting there as the Denver Broncos, do you reach for Mac Jones and take the 5th quarterback taken in the top 10? I say no. I say what the Denver Broncos are going to do here. They're going to take Patrick Surtain. In that division in the AFC West, you got some amazing wide receivers, some amazing wide receiver rooms in the Kansas City Chiefs, Oakland Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Stop the passing game. You need to get your cornerbacks, and that's why you go with Patrick Surtain in this situation. Number 10, the Dallas Cowboys. Again, a quarterback is a big need there. They need to build up on their defense, and I know the perfect guy for them, J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. Obviously, South Carolina being my favorite college team. But J.C. Horn, I tell you, this guy is underrated, even though in this system and in many other mock drafts, he's an easy top 10 or top 20 pick. He should be at least the 2nd quarterback taken off the board, maybe even 1st. I think he's that good that he should be the 1st. He's a physical guy. He can play cornerback. You saw him lock up some of the best wide receivers in the nation in the SEC this season. J.C. Horn, do not let him slide if you are the Dallas Cowboys. Coming up with number 11, we got the New York Giants. Now, I know they just took Kenny Galladay. They just signed him. They get another good wide receiver, but it will never hurt to keep building up on that room. You take Devontae Smith at 11. Do not let Devontae Smith slide back, especially to your division rival in the Philadelphia Eagles. You do not want to have to cover him. So cover that. If you're the Giants, take Devontae. Don't let him slide to the Eagles, because the Eagles want a wide receiver. Do not let him take it, because they traded back to that 12 spot expecting that you're either going to have Waddle, Jamar Chase, or Devontae Smith still sitting around at that point. Now we get to the Eagles pick, and they do not have either of those guys up there. Who do I take for them? I say you build up on the defense if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. It cannot hurt them. And I say you take Micah Parsons out of Penn State easily. One of the most physical and smartest players at the linebacker position in this whole draft class. Micah Parsons has constantly come out and said that he is the best defensive player in this whole draft. Do not let him slide past 12. He's your guy. Go take him. Next up, we got at 13, we got the Los Angeles Chargers. And for the same reason I took Patrick Surtain to the Broncos, I'm going to take another cornerback here, and I'm going to go with Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech, going to the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, that division is stacked at the wide receiver position. Lock down the passing game. Your offense is getting better. Justin Herbert has an amazing season. You got a good core of wide receivers. Build up on your defense. It can never hurt. Take a cornerback, take Caleb Farley, and run away with it. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings. Taking out of the Minnesota Vikings, I think you're getting a steal here for them. With this guy still available, I'm going with Kwity Paye out of Michigan, the big edge rusher out of Michigan. Yes, he didn't get that much attention this year because he was on the Michigan Wolverines, and Michigan did not have a good season. But I tell you, this guy in Kwity Paye, he's a big guy. He'll get to the quarterback. He's a guy that you want in the NFC North, especially in a division where defense is key. You got a lot of good defenses over there, and I think that's definitely something, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You got your running back, you got your wide receiver. Build on your defense. Take the edge rusher and Kwity Paye. Build on your defensive line. Here's a really interesting pick if you are the New England Patriots. We all saw Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels at Mac Jones's pro day. Were they impressed by what they saw? Mac Jones didn't have the greatest showing there. I still think, and I still honestly believe, that you will see Mac Jones in a New England Patriots uniform this season. I just feel like he's a guy that would fit that play style so well over there in New England. He's not a guy who is a runner. He's a guy that's a true passer. I don't want to say he's like Tom Brady, because that you can't compare Mac Jones to the greatest quarterback of all time, but still, Mac Jones, I feel like he fits the mold and the scheme and the identity of what the Patriots offense is. So I think the Patriots go get your guy in Mac Jones at number 15. Number 16, this is an interesting one because you got the Arizona Cardinals. I've taken the 3 best cornerbacks off the board. Running backs are still available, but here's where it gets interesting. I'm going to go with a linebacker here for the Arizona Cardinals. Your offense is set. You got an amazing wide receiver room, adding A.J. Green there. I'm going to take a linebacker, and at linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals, I'm going to go with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame. Played in a lot of big games this season. The second linebacker taken off the board. Yes, you drafted Isaiah Simmons last year. never hurt. You saw the Arizona Cardinals could have done a lot better on defense last season, and with the additions and everything going on in the NFC West, the offenses that you have to face out there, do not let, especially the Rams. The Rams look like they have one of the better teams in the league this year. Adding Matt Stafford, do not let offenses take over your defense. Build onto your defense because you already have a good offense over there in Arizona. Number 17 for the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland. It's still crazy to me that they're in Las Vegas now. This is an easy call. You're taking Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. I've seen Rashawn Slater go even higher than Penny Sewell in some mock drafts, but I don't think that he's going to be higher than Penny Sewell. But I think 17 is a huge steal for the Oakland Raiders, getting a big offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Again, just protect your assets, protect your quarterback. Offensive line is something, it's not that big flashy pick that you're going to get. It's not that pick that's going to get you excited, but it's a pick that you need to take. Number 18, the Miami Dolphins. This is another easy pick for me. They're going with the running back position, and they're going with Najee Harris here. You get your wide receiver in Jamar Chase. Now you get your running back in Najee Harris, and you have two of the most explosive guys in this whole draft right off the bat in the first round. The Dolphins have absolutely killed this draft so far with the picks that they've traded for and everything with Laramie Tunsil. The Dolphins have just been playing this whole draft on Madden franchise mode. Like, it's been insane. Next up, moving on to the Washington football team. Again, offensive tackle is something that's a need. There's no real guys that jump out to me. Yes, you could go and grab your safety in Moehrig with TCU, but I think you just stick with the offensive tackle position and you go with Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. Let me just go find him. Here we go. Again, just build onto your offensive line. It's that simple. Don't need to make it too complicated. Now here's where we get to my favorite team, the Chicago Bears. And as much as I want a new quarterback, we just signed AD. We are calling him AD. Courtesy of Big Cat on Part of My Take of the Barstool podcast. I love that podcast. One of the best one. No question about it. The best podcast. Except for the Touchdowns to Home Runs podcast, which if you want to go listen to that, it's on all of your favorite podcast platforms. But let's see here. I have admitted to myself and I have accepted that this isn't going to be your big flashy pick this year. We are going to take an offensive lineman, but that is something that we need. And I know the guy that the Bears are going to go out and get, and I will be fine with it. And I have to accept it because we need to build off on our offensive line. It's an absolute need. We cannot bring an elite quarterback into Chicago with the offensive line we have right now. And with that, I am taking Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan for the Chicago Bears. Simple as that. Our offensive line is not good enough right now to have a quarterback. There's no point in bringing in, let's say, a Russell Wilson or let's say a Deshaun Watson or even waiting next year. If we wait next year to go out and get, let's say, Sam Howell or let's say Spencer Rattler, there's going to be some good guys. Brock Purdy, let's see how he does at Iowa State. There's going to be some good quarterbacks in the draft next year. We just have to rely on that. Build on your offensive line now, and let's see how Andy Dalton does. Protect Andy Dalton. Protect AD 14. Getting a quick drink as we head on to the last 12 picks of the draft. Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm going with a easy wide receiver here. Now, there's lots of wide receivers on the board for the taking for the Indianapolis Colts, and I am actually going to go with here Terrace Marshall out of LSU. Again, a guy who's kind of slipped under the cracks just because you're playing with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in college. This season, Terrace Marshall, until he opted out for the rest of the season, had a really, really good year with inconsistent quarterback play for LSU. Again, Miles Brennan goes out early in the season. Then you have TJ Finley, and then you have Max Johnson come in. Is a train wreck. The whole LSU team was a train wreck this season, but Terrace Marshall was still able to have an amazing season. So Terrace Marshall going to the Indianapolis Colts. Next up, sticking with the wide receiver position, you got the Tennessee Titans. You have A.J. Brown across the line, who's kind of your big body guy. So if I'm the Tennessee Titans in this scenario, I want to go out and grab a wide receiver who's fast, who's speedy, who's good on his feet. And with that pick, there's there's actually three guys right here, and they're all lined up. Kadarius Toney, Elijah Moore, and Rondale Moore. Now, you can't go out and grab each and every of these guys. And if I have to take one right now, I'm taking Kadarius Toney out of Florida. Kadarius Toney, if you turn on any of his highlights, yes, you had Kyle Pitts on that wide receiver core, or I guess just receiving core because Kyle Pitts is a tight end. But Kadarius Toney was still able to be a massive, massive factor in the success of the Florida Gators offense this season. Go out, grab your speedster, line him up, on the other side of A.J. Brown, and you're going to give some of those AFC South defenses a hard time to comprehend what they're about to see on defense next Sunday. So that is a really, really good pick for the Tennessee Titans. Next up, I'm sticking with the wide receiver again. New York Jets, they're going to go with Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Again, there's not much to explain here. Rashad Bateman had an amazing career at Minnesota. Definitely one of the better wide receivers in this absolutely stacked wide receiver class for the whole class. The Jets just go out and grab him, take your guy. Simple as that. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are in need of a running back. Yes, James Conner has been solid at points, but you just need something new and fresh at that running back position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is an easy pick. Travis Etienne out of Clemson, all-time rusher in the ACC. Go out, get your guy. He's going to be one of the most athletic guys on the whole field at all times. So go grab Travis Etienne. Call it at that. Here we go. This is another really interesting one because you could go out and there's still a bunch of great wide receivers left on the board. You have Elijah Moore and Rondale Moore, two guys who I would grab at this pick. Already on the wide receiver corps for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you got DJ Chark, and then you got Laviska Shenault out of Colorado last year, who's coming into his sophomore season. I think that it would be way smarter of a decision to go out and grab offensive linemen, just build onto that offensive line, and protect Trevor Lawrence. I say you go and grab Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. Again, nothing too complicated. Just build on your offensive line. It'll never hurt. If you're spending a first-round pick on a guy who you think is going to be your franchise quarterback, protect him. Do not let him get injured. Next up, at 26, we got the Cleveland Browns. Another easy pick for me. I think their offense is in a good position, so I'm going to go an edge rusher out of Georgia. I'm going to go Azeez Ujulari out of Georgia. Again, I've watched this guy a lot last year because I follow mostly the SEC. He was a big factor in Georgia's defensive success last season. Very quality edge rusher for the Georgia Bulldogs. And again, Georgia is able to produce constant, good defensive players. So I am taking Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia, hands down. 27 for the Baltimore Ravens. This is an easy pick for me. You're going to wide receiver because even though, yes, you add on Sammy Watkins, I still think that this team needs even more. They need to have an established wide receiver position, and I think you go Rondale Moore out of Purdue here. One of the fastest guys on the field had a 42.5 vert at Purdue at his pro day. Insane. This guy can jump. Add him to Lamar Jackson's team. Yes, you got Hollywood Brown still there. You add Sammy Watkins. Now you have Rondale Moore. You're starting to get a bit of a sense of a really, really good wide receiver room out there in Baltimore. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints, and I'm going to go a linebacker here. I just think the linebackers should be the position that the New Orleans Saints should go for. So where's my linebacker position? Let's go with Nick Bolton out of Missouri. Again, Missouri was a team who did not get very much attention. They found themselves in the top 25 towards the end of the season. This was a very good defensive team, and that was all because of their leader on defense at linebacker, Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton is a very solid player. Again, when I saw him play against us in South Carolina, they shut down our offense easily. Nick Bolton is an amazing player, and I definitely take him out of Missouri. 29, the Green Bay Packers. Again, another easy pick for me. I'm going at the wide receiver position, the last guy on the board that I would take in the first round. A guy in one of my Pro Day winner videos, I took him as definitely one of the winners. I'm going Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. Elijah Moore had an absolutely unreal season, and it just seems like nobody paid attention to it just because Devontae Smith had a monster season at Alabama. Elijah Moore was one of the best wide receivers in all of college football. I have no problem coming out here and saying that last season. It's just nobody watched him, and it's going to be an absolute steal for the Packers to grab him at 29. And if this actually happens, I'm going to be scared because I'm a big Bears fan and I hate the Packers. I don't want them to get Elijah Moore, but if I was the Packers in this scenario, Elijah Moore is my guy. Add on to Aaron Rodgers. Wide receivers, even though you got Devontae Smith, who was probably, Devontae Adams, who was probably the best wide receiver in the whole NFL last year, add another guy to him. You can never go wrong with that because the rest of your wide receivers are dropping balls left, right, and center. You got 30, the Buffalo Bills. I'm going a linebacker here. Yes, a linebacker in this position, it could be risky for the Bills, but I think that what's the hurt? You got your offense. I think that you go and grab Jamin Davis out of Kentucky in this scenario for the Bills. I've seen a lot of mock drafts taking Nick Bolton at this pick for the Bills. And I think, yes, I would take Nick Bolton too, but I just picked him to the Saints. So I'm going with Jamin Davis out of Kentucky. Another guy who kind of like Nick Bolton didn't get the attention because Kentucky wasn't a real good team this year, but he was the leader of that defense. And I think, again, Kentucky, you're not going to have a bunch of great players on that team, but you're usually going to have a couple gems on that team, that are going to pop out and being amazing players like kind of Josh Allen. You go back a couple years ago, the defensive one, not the offensive one on the Bills. So we're taking Jamin Davis to the Buffalo Bills here. That brings us to 31. Easy pick. Like, I don't even have to decide what position I'm taking here. You're going Samuel Cosmi out of Texas in this scenario for the Kansas City Chiefs. You cut basically all of your offensive line, and they play terrible in the Super Bowl. You need to protect Mahomes. Give him time to throw. Easy pick. I don't even need to think twice. Don't even think about taking any other position with this pick. You're taking an offensive line, and I think Samuel Cosmi out of Texas is an amazing pick here. That brings us to our last pick. Let's get a good drink of water so I have the energy and the breath to be able to talk through this pick, but I know who I'm taking here. Interior defensive lineman, easy. Christian Barmore out of Alabama. National championship winner. Where is he? There he is, Christian Barmore. And that's it. That's our draft. Not much to talk about for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have your offense. Your offense is good enough. Build onto that defensive line. Obviously, you're going to have an amazing season next year. Just build onto your defensive line. Get Christian Barmore. Call it that. Win your second Super Bowl in 2 years. That is my mock draft, guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video and drop comment any of your big picks. Like, give me your top 5 picks. Give me your quarterback rankings. Give me whatever. I'd love to hear from you guys. Subscribe, comment, like. Thank you for watching, and definitely come back next time.